I'm concerned with the classroom sizes. I'm concerned with the lack of sort of the autonomy of the school boards, that what they have right now. The teacher strike, of course. The book banning was a real big issue for me as well. I am an avid reader, and some of the books that they had decided to ban were classics of us growing up.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch, brought to you by Bernie Leahy, River Street Realty. Let's get you home. And joining me now on the porch is a public school trustee candidate, Jan Kline-Farmer. Welcome.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate this opportunity.
Well, we're glad to have you. As we were talking just before we started here, it's been 3.5 weeks into the campaign, and you've had your running shoes on.
I've had my running shoes on. It's been an interesting campaign. I guess I've learned an awful lot through running social media, doing these events. It's been a really good experience, a really good learning experience, which I've appreciated.
You stepped out of your comfort zone.
I had to step out of my comfort zone, yes.
Yeah. Now, what have you learned? You said you learned a few things.
Well, I definitely learned social media, presenting myself a little bit more through the social media. I've learned about school programs as well. You know, I was in contact with the assistant superintendent last week talking about special ed, inclusion in classrooms. So I was able to learn about new programs that I was unfamiliar with, being a parent of a few years ago.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
What's in your heart?
My heart is a real concern for the educational system right now. I'm concerned with the classroom sizes. I'm concerned with the lack of sort of the autonomy of the school boards, that what they have right now. The teacher strike, of course. The book banning was a real big issue for me as well. I am an avid reader, and some of the books that they had decided to ban were classics of us growing up. So I have a concern when the local autonomy is taken away from the school board and these decisions are made at the provincial government.
So how does a school trustee in Medicine Hat fight that?
I think we have to advocate very strongly that we want back some local autonomy. I think it's important to be sort of transparent with our approaches with the government. I'm finding there doesn't seem to be much, I hate to use the word transparency because it's not that. The lack of knowledge in the community of what our school boards are doing. And I think it could be a lack of parental involvement, community involvement themselves, not wanting to find out what's going on, or is it something that's happening at the school board level? This is something I'd like to look into and see how we can encourage community and parents and everybody to become more involved with local issues.
I know when Catherine Wilson was here, she was saying that it sometimes is a little disheartening when the board meets and they look in the public gallery and there's nobody there.
Oh, I know. And you know, last night at the teachers' forum, it was very similar. The ATA forum, I was surprised at the lack of audience, but I think with social media right now and being able to put it out on YouTube and things like that, I think people are so busy that they're taking their time to view it at home and at their own leisure.
In their time frame, their schedule.
Yes, yeah. That's right.
I was joking with Catherine, maybe what you need to do is get everybody riled up and then they'll come out with their torches and pitchforks.
That's right, and that's where we could have done the book banning a little bit more. I saw Calgary and Edmonton taking a fairly strong stance and coming out with that. I didn't see that here in Medicine Hat, and I wondered why. And that was one of the issues that I wanted to find out more about, what's causing us not to speak out, what not to advocate on behalf of our students.
What's your background? I know you have a background in early childhood education, I believe?
Yes, that's correct. Now, this will date me a bit. I was a daycare director for the city of Medicine Hat when they had the daycare centers. My last position was at Herald School, so I was working with special needs children, working cooperatively with the community and other professionals, developing individual student plans, and making sure staff implemented them. So that's my background here in Medicine Hat, but I also was a daycare director up in Calgary and Airdrie as well. I have a wide variety of experience. So while I was up in Calgary, I had been working part-time in retail, and my manager at that time said, "Hey, do you want to be my assistant?" And I went, "Oh, okay, that's a different career take." Mm-hmm. So I went off in that route and worked in Calgary at several companies in retail as managers. And then I came back to Medicine Hat and worked at Tangier and Aaliyah as a manager. And my final job was with People's Jewelers. So I have a good knowledge of wide financial responsibility and working within budgets and transparency. So I feel I have some good skills to bring to the table.
And relating to customers as well.
Exactly, and that's a huge part.
Sometimes they're not easy to do.
No, and I must say, I think I'm pretty good at that. At least that's what my staff told me. They ran into a difficult customer. Even I'm going to say parent and childcare. They would bring it back to me and say, "Jan, can you handle it?" And usually I was able to work cooperatively with parents and customers. I think it's recognizing that there's a problem and recognizing, what can we do to help this? There was many times there was nothing I could do, but allowing me the opportunity to sit one-on-one and find out what the problem was and understand it and recognize it and say, well, I can't do this, but what can we do?
One of the skills of someone who's involved in conflict resolution is the ability to listen.
Exactly.
And have that person know that their message has been received.
Definitely.
So that would be a skill that would translate into a public school trustee.
For sure.
Classroom sizes in Medicine Hat. Have you heard how we are doing in that area? We hear these horror stories in Calgary.
We sure do.
Haven't heard so much about that in the Hat.
Not as much. I've listened to some teachers and asked them what their classroom sizes are, and they're running about 25 children, maybe that. So, but I don't think we can say we're going to be immune to this. Right now, with our decline in probably students, our classroom sizes are staying lower. But hopefully as Medicine Hat grows and we attract younger people into the city, our schools will start to grow and thrive.
I see this as an opportunity for Medicine Hat to advertise to people in Calgary and Edmonton. Class size is a concern in your city. In Medicine Hat, we have fill in the blank. So there's an opportunity here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think a great opportunity for that. It'll help us promote Medicine Hat and the advantages here in Medicine Hat and bring it back to our education.
Unfortunately, in education the way it is today, there's also a competition amongst different school divisions, even amongst different schools, to attract students because the students bring government funding. Your thoughts on having to compete with outside schools like Prairie Rose and the Medicine Hat Catholic Board of Education?
I think it's a shame that we're starting to have to compete. I think we're all in it for the same purposes. And unfortunately, the dollars, when it's attached to students, causes that competitiveness. My understanding with the private schools that they're getting funded 70% of their per student for their programs. And those programs are able to keep classroom sizes small. They're able to turn away children with learning disabilities, with special needs, with behavior problems. Where we in the private school, public school, we accept everybody. So it's I find it very negative that we're competing with each other. It's maybe time to work cooperatively with each other and advocate to the schools, to the provincial government, that this is not a situation we want to be in. We're here to educate all children.
In the classroom, the challenges the teachers face on a daily basis, one of them, and I think you've alluded to it a bit, is the special needs children.
Yes.
And then you need the educational assistants in there to work with them as well.
Yes. I come from a background, I have some personal experience in that. My son with special needs, often too was a behavior problem. And it's imperative that we work together with parents. I know myself, I was able to work with my son and help him control his behaviors, if that's the right term. But I couldn't do it if I wasn't given the information, or if it wasn't given to me as quickly as it should have been given to me. So I think it's imperative that we work closely with parents, and it's very difficult as a parent of a child who has those needs to accept some of how we sometimes give up on our youth. At 15, my son was reading at a primary level, and I was told that he might never learn to read and that maybe he could work in a pet shop. Mm-hmm. Well, I had to navigate and appeal the school district, and I won several appeals through them, and my son now is a contributing adult who is married, has 2 children, owns a home, and a welder. So what more can a mom want?
You didn't give up on him.
I didn't, and I think it's imperative that we don't give up on children.
I recall when I was a student, that's a while back,
Yep.
when we had special needs children, they were separated from the rest of the school body.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if that was a good idea or not.
Sorry.
Gradually now, they have been integrated into the classroom. Your thoughts on that?
I have mixed feelings. I see my son being separated plus integrated. I think sometimes the integration can cause frustrations. There's different kind of bullying that is associated with children with learning disabilities. And I know at times he was frustrated, and that could cause some of his behaviors to escalate. However, and this is where I kind of differ my opinion now, today, compared to back when my son was going to school. There wasn't all the programs that were available for children like that. We didn't have the aids or the resources for him. So I did appeal the school district, and we took him to the Foothills Academy in Calgary, which is a specialized school for learning disabilities. He was only there a year and went from a pre-primary level to a grade 6 level in reading.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were able to come back to Medicine Hat, and with the hard work and advocating for his schooling, he was able to get an aid for one-on-one for 4 years, which doesn't often happen.
No.
But I was able to achieve that through the appeals, and he graduated in 3 years. And that was within our public system. So there are good teachers out there and good resources that can tie into these children that have learning disabilities. So I'm a little waffly on should they be isolated or should they be integrated. I think when it suits the child the best and where they thrive is really important. If a classroom is too chaotic or too not correct for a child with special needs, then maybe we need to look at what can best be suited for that child.
No, there's no one solution.
No,
Okay.
there isn't.
You touched on bullying. In my day, you would see bullying in the schoolyard, and it might be, I'm going to take your lunch money or whatever.
Yeah.
These days, bullying has taken on a whole different form with social media and all the horror stories we hear about how children are being targeted online. What can the public school board do about that?
I think it's important that we bring up awareness. I don't know if there's so much that we can do about it, but I think working with parents, working with the child that's being bullied, and bringing in maybe outside agencies that can tie in and support this situation. I personally just know someone whose granddaughter has committed suicide because of bullying.
Yeah, that's sad.
And that is sad. And yet, I don't know how much the school could have done because it was being done off school time.
Yep.
And everything. So again, it's really imperative to work with parents, and I think the parents of the children who are bullying as well. I think if they were aware of what was going on and that they might be able to help with that situation as well.
Perhaps something in the curriculum to help children understand bullying and how to fight it would be an answer, or at least something that would help.
Exactly. I was able to serve on the Board of Canadian Mental Health for 10 years, both locally and provincially. So I have a soft spot for mental health. And I think that we need to tie in the community and other resources out there to help our children cope with all situations. COVID's one of them. I think that they've had a hard time dealing with COVID and now the teachers strike.
Yeah, it affects their social life for sure, because they're used to being with their friends for 10 months out of the year. And all of a sudden, what do we do?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's important to tie in the community as well. I think there are really good resources out there that could assist us with that curriculum and maybe even offer after-school programs that the children can go to and feel safe sharing.
Your thoughts on the current curriculum in Alberta? We do see a lot of uproar when they change the curriculum.
Yes, I've got a real problem with the curriculum. I feel that educators haven't been involved enough, that it's been put down heavily by the Alberta government, and I don't think it allows the local boards and the local communities to gear it to what their needs are at the time. So I've got a problem with it, and also too how it was implemented with no resources, lack of support for teachers and books. So I think it was a big failure, to tell you the truth.
Anything else that we haven't touched on that is close to your heart when it comes to public education?
I don't think so. Just that I'm coming from a part of a community member, grandma, mother, that education has always been important to me. It has shown me that it's a way to step up and let people thrive. One of the issues that I have is with homelessness and everything right now. Right now, we're putting Band-Aids on things. We need to look at what the causes were. We need to keep our kids in school. We need to give them the support they need so that they can thrive and become productive citizens.
Jan, it sounds like you have a heart for kids.
I really do. Thank you.
Well, you'll be a candidate on the October 20th election, and we'll see, I guess, a couple of days later whether you're successful or not. I think you've been successful already.
Well, thank you very much, Brian. It's been really a lot of fun and opportunity. Thank you for this opportunity. It's new to me, and I've enjoyed it.
You're most welcome.